meat and curry, I'm your man. Cause how we all lose it is a mystery. It's like the changing of our wardrobes from a dire history. But it's the one making us not stop. 50 kilograms is all we've got to drop. La 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 la, la 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 la.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's 50 kg Drop podcast. Today we've got a very special guest, a lady called Pippa Rogers, come on to the pod. And joining me today, we also have the wonderful Taylor Ellsworth.
Hello, droppers.
Pippa, welcome. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks. Pippa, it'd be really great for you to introduce yourself, what you do for everyone who doesn't listen, and go from there, really.
Well, first thing, I have someone else who wants to join your squad of losing.
Whoa.
What we got? Oh, is that?
Yeah. Do people still show their dogs on Zoom, or is that quite 2020 now?
Yeah, 100%.
It's welcomed.
Harvey, my dog's on this pod a lot, actually. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's good. I'm all for it.
Breed is he or she?
A miniature schnauzer, a boy.
Ah, very nice. Got really good temperament.
Ah, thank you. I slipped him a little something. I'm kidding. But yes, I'm awful. My last bits of the food I can't resist just to give him. So I do need to put him on this diet. And well,
yeah, my dog's sizey. Yeah. He listens, so I'm not going to say too much.
Yes, so thank you. So yes, I'm Pippa. I started the Healed and Whole Recovery just for a place to feel safe. I think so many clinical settings like dietitians or nutritionists can have a way of putting shame on people. So I just want to nurture this environment where no shame, like completely honest. You know, if it was you hate the 6 hash browns, I was going to applaud you like we talked about earlier. So I just want people to feel safe, and you never grow into the person you want to be if you're filling your mind with mean things, nasty things. So I just really want people to cultivate that inner sense of love and then go from there.
Yeah, fair enough. So personally, I think I'm quite self-critical. So if I'm thinking of diets and being out of shape and this sort of stuff, I'm the type of bloke to overeat and then just be in this self-pity of why have you done that? We had a hypnotist on a few weeks ago that was kind of talking around the brain and everything that you've done from a childhood, like getting cake at your birthday or this sort of stuff is all kind of ingrained in you. What's your kind of angle to this from a mind perspective?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's hard. Even now when I have Cadbury Dairy Milk, I'm always transported back to my advent calendar. And I just think there's so, like the Colin Caterpillar cake, you always have the memories of eating at your parties and with your friends. So there's so many emotions attached to different food types. McDonald's is the big one. If you're feeling sorry for yourself, if you're hungover, get all the McFlurries, get all the cheeseburgers. So it's hard. Emotions do really deep grain, but I did notice, because I was very much the same. I was always in this cycle of eating so much and then punishing myself and then not eating for the day, and then you're hungry, so then you eat it all over again. Sorry.
Eating again, that sort of thing. Starving and eating, starving, eating.
Yeah, but it's the same as once I stop rewarding myself with food. So say I've been like, oh, I've been so good, I've lost X amount of weight, I can go out for the meal and have the dessert as well. Once I stop rewarding myself in that way, finding other ways that I could take self-care without continually spoiling myself with food. So
That's weird concept, isn't it? Because that correlates with everything. Because I think back, like when I was really young, it was like a takeaway sort of once every month as like a huge treat. And now it's sort of 7 a week, or I've even done probably 14 a week occasionally. But it's everything that I think of that are my bad habits. It was almost celebrated when I was younger, like eating everything on your plate so that you get dessert and all of these different aspects. It's a weird concept that we've sort of ingrained it in our brains growing up, that all of these foods are celebratory. Do you know what I mean? When actually, look at me now.
See, that's the critical thought, thinking I would stop you right there.
That's why we need you, Pippa.
Can I ask you what interests you? What would motivate you outside of work? Like, what's an adult celebration that you enjoy?
Getting paralytic. No, I really enjoy. Well, my drive is competitiveness, so sports, anything that I put my mind to, I sort of want to be the best at, which is why I'm sort of going hell for leather for this diet at the moment. But yeah, I'd say that's what I reward myself with, playing sports and doing things like that. Get my brain ticking.
That's good. That's interesting to know because, to save you from having 14 or 7 takeaways a week, you could get the best you could at making that particular dish. What's your favorite takeaway?
It depends on the day, to be honest. I'm a man of variance. I like changing it up. I'm never the same takeaway a day. But yeah, let's go with some sort of piri chicken or doner kebab element.
Okay, perfect. So peri chicken. You can make your own Nando spice. You could do your own sauces. Get creative in the kitchen, and get your friends around, do taste tests, and like make it a fun occasion, not just having to sit in front of the TV and eating. You still get your peri chicken, but you could make it fun and maybe put a bit of iceberg lettuce in, and you're fine.
Yeah, no, it's actually it's a good concept. I do like that. I've never really thought of it that way.
So, with what you do you help others now with eating disorders and the likes? And how does that work?
Sure. So it's really hard promoting myself as disordered eating recovery coach because I think one image comes to mind when people think of an eating disorder, and it's very skeletal or very small, whereas it's more normalized, the overeating and emotional eating side of things. It's like I focus more on binge eating and trying to change patterns, like the thought patterns, change habits, and just to break the habit of binge eating, not cutting out food in any way, but just being able to eat it in moderation. And then once we establish that, the focus gets taken away from food. And already I've noticed my clients within just a couple of months or so really start to enjoy life without the food. They're focusing always on their days off of what food to get next, or stop eating food, or they should be going to the gym. And then maybe they started a new hobby like tennis or horse riding, or just spending more time with friends as well.
Yeah, I think Jonty, who's the hash brown guy, he's got this thing where he's petrified of being hungry. Like his diet's like, I've even said this loads of times in the pod, but he eats mashed potato because that fills him up, and he eats it within his calories and this sort of stuff. But his biggest fear is being hungry, so he'll look for anything to stop him being hungry. But he's always then thinking about food and what's happening next and this sort of stuff. And when he's on his bad, like when he's out of diet mode, it's like the guy's just like it's like a truffle pig just locking around, just trying to find anything he can put in his mouth. So for me, it's a bit different. I went for a long period over the last 2 years of stress eating, where I was working in such crazy hours, crazy stress, crazy stuff, that I could never plan when I was going to eat. So I would go, right, I've been on 6 hours straight of calls. Let's just go get something quickly in 15 minutes. Then I'd smash as much in as possible because I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to eat in another 6 hours time. And then actually I had another window, and then I'm eating again. And then I'm doing that again, and again, and again, and again, and again. I think for me, it was like not being in control of everything was the issue. I was just like, whatever I could put in my mouth, I could put in my mouth. And then I'd get home, mentally, my brain's just like fallen out of my head. And I'm just sitting on Deliveroo going, right, let's just get in whatever I can get in and go from there. So the start of this year, we started a weight loss competition. Last year, I tried this kind of non-extreme dieting approach, and it just didn't work for me. It was like I need to feel like I'm losing weight, so we've gone for the extreme approach. And I think this year I'm picking up a lot of good habits. We had another guy on that talked about having 2 small meals and a large meal a day to keep within the calories. which has consciously made me not overeat during the day, which has really worked for me. But my biggest fear is coming out of the diet knowing that I've got all of these old habits that I can just go back to, like the 3 days between the end of the January competition and the February competition. I ate whatever I wanted to put in my mouth and I gained a load of weight again. So I know that's a ton of information, but what do you think about that and this kind of psyche of it all, and how would you help that?
I think, to be honest, you've put diet culture, you've nailed it on the head, is that you go through the 6 week or intense time of fasting or intermittent fasting or just doing juice cleanses or whatever the next phrase is, and then you do see results and you feel amazing, you get all these great compliments, but it's impossible to maintain. It's not your natural body weight or your rhythm. It doesn't fit in with your lifestyle, so it naturally you'll go back to other ways because you've denied yourself to such an extreme. I've said it before, but no one wants to eat the egg white omelette or something like that. You want to have all the tasty things. So that's what I always say to clients. I have this methodology where I encourage 10 small meals a day. So it's really hard because sometimes eating and you're not hungry.
Should you say 10?
Yes. So there you go. You should enjoy this.
Okay, I'm all ears, yeah.
So it's 10 small meals. So
10 Deliveroos, yeah.
Yeah, get a black card. So just so for example, what would you have for breakfast normally?
At the moment, I'm having a Joe and the Juice sandwich, basically, 420 calories. I've done eggs in the morning, maybe a granola bowl, that sort of thing.
And how do you feel afterwards?
Fine, good.
No, I mean, would you feel energetic or lethargic?
Energetic at the
Okay.
moment, yeah. I also take a Magic Mind, which seems to be an incredible thing to wake me up, which is like a mushroom cordyceps thing, plus a coffee, and then I'm ready to go. I'm never tired in the morning.
That's really good. That's nice. Mushrooms on toast with a twist.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, it's the 2 small meals and then the large meal. Again, that adopts that you have to eat everything at the big meal because you weren't allowed it on the other 2 meals. Whereas if you space it out over 10 meals, you can have your granola bar or small things like maybe like a ham sandwich at this time. And then Jonathan, worried that he's always going to be hungry. He's got 9 more meals in his bag. He's fine. You can make smaller versions of what you like. Maybe like a Scotch egg and a bit of brown sauce in one packed lunch bit. Or I encourage chocolate as well. Just if that's your go-to, but having the 1 bar, but letting yourself have that 1 bar every day. Does that make sense? So it sounds like you're being interactive.
Yeah, it does make sense. So if I think about, because I'm trying to think weekly, I'm doing really well Monday through to Wednesday. Thursday, I said that I'm going to incorporate a takeaway in the diet either way. So whatever calories I had left for the day, 1,200 calories, it will be like a Five Guys burger maybe that will take up 1,000 of them calories, and then I feel as if I'm kind of still not restricting anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really good.
And the rest of the days I'm then trying to do, like you mentioned before, like I cook something that is low cal but tastes a bit dirty, like chicken burgers is a good one, and this sort of thing. Then weekends is I'm restricting booze in January, and I'm a bit scared of booze because booze is really like a tidal wave of. I did it quite well on Saturday actually. I went out on Saturday, did a wine tasting thing with my missus during the day, and then we went out for a meal afterwards, and I managed to not just eat everything I could see in sight. And I knew I was going to have a bad day, but usually with boozing, it's like, cool, you're feeling a bit pissed, eat, drink more, you get pissed again, eat, and then it's like, I can't see, eat everything. Next day, I'm then dying, going, let's just put everything more in. So how do you combat that? That's like boozing in general is probably a great topic.
Big one.
Yeah, that was my hardest one as well because I used to love hungover food. Sometimes I wasn't sure if I liked the night out more or the hungover duvet day where you just get all the food in. And that was really hard. But making sure you eat a meal before you go out. So definitely eating is not cheating. Just make sure you've had your mashed potato, you've had your nutritious food, something that fills you up, something that you're not going to crave in like 2 hours. You don't need the chips because you've had the mashed potato already a couple of hours ago. Again, you can get the takeaway, but you can make things healthier. Like we said about kebabs earlier, they do offer that salad option. If you're smashed at 4 a.m., you're not going to notice a tomato going down. Like, you're fine. And just having fun with it. Again, not having that mindset of, oh, I messed up, I had 4 kebabs last night. You celebrate, yes, I only had 4 kebabs, I didn't have 6 like last week. Just small things like that. But it eventually over time, it does actually build new neural pathways, so it strengthens that. And you do celebrate those wins, and that surges you forward.
You're so positive, Pippa, and it's making me feel so positive. Like, you're giving off like a nice energy right now. What got you into this sort of line of work and sort of wanting to do this? Because obviously you know a ton about this, and obviously even after speaking to you for like 10 minutes now, I'm getting like the feelings all coming in. I'm feeling proud of myself all of a sudden. What made you do this? How did you get into it, really?
Thank you. So I used to be a flight attendant for Emirates, and they were very strict on, so we got weighed at different points to make sure our uniform still fitted well, and we always had to look well groomed, like our lipstick had to be immaculate, and we'd go in for our every pre-flight we'd have a security question, but they'd also check our nails, our hair, just our belt. Mm-hmm. So you just kind of constantly, you need to look your best all the time, which puts a lot of pressure on you. And I was the same as you in that, because you don't know when you're going to eat on the flights. They can be long flights. Our longest one's about 17 hours if you're flying from Dubai to Texas. And then you're so busy with the service, you don't know when you're next going to eat. So I'd go into the galley, oh, there's a chicken curry in the oven, I'll eat that. And then maybe like 10 minutes later, it's my actual meal time and I'll eat something else. So it's that fear of getting hungry whilst you're midway through the service. And then because I'd be so tired after these long flights or jet lag, and you're away from all your family and friends sometimes, I would turn to food. Room service is super easy to get. But they load those minibars and they never check the price when you leave and the bill. But you maybe should edit that bit out. But yeah, so I just got into this big habit of always using food to ease my comfort, bring me comfort. And then it was getting me so low. And then if my housemates were on flights and I'd have the flat to myself for 2 days or so, all I would do is just get the takeaways, eat in front of the TV, because I didn't have to be on, I didn't have to put my makeup on, I didn't have to present myself as this hostess doing the fine service for passengers. I could just be me. And I was getting so low because I hated that. I didn't want to be that. And then this went on for years. And then eventually I found this book and it really helped me. And it took away that shame because, every time I went to the US, I really wanted to join the Overeaters Anonymous things, but I knew that it wouldn't be received well because sometimes people would have an image of what you should look like as an overeater or something like that. But I knew I was overeating, and I was never purging. I was always overeating. And I was too scared to go to one of those sessions. And the doctors, they didn't have the right language for what it was, and I couldn't really speak to someone professionally. So then I found this book, and it immediately lifted that shame. And I think when you have those binges, you always think, oh, I lack willpower, I'm so greedy, I'm never gonna get that body or something like that. And immediately the book, chapter 1 was like, it's not willpower, you've restricted your food. It's your natural body. In the way that if you were drowning and you reached out for air, you starving yourself, your body needs to eat all that food. You have no control over that. So that was a huge thing. And just noticing the importance of eating those 10 small meals a day really helped get control of myself. And then when I felt not like hiding myself away and eating all the time. I was enjoying life more, you know, getting out on the layovers and meeting friends. And yeah, it's definitely been a journey. But the author of the book, I actually followed them, and then they introduced a coaching course. So I signed up for that really quick, and it was amazing. And to meet so many people that went through that as well. You always think you're alone in these, but there's so many people going through it.
So is it like unconscious habits that you're picking up that you're trying to then change, basically, with the eating? Because for me, what you're saying rings completely true. And also, us being kind of four really big blokes, I think we've got that stigma. We've had some people that have approached us to kind of talk to us about weight loss and something, and the first question that most of us think is, have you ever been 100 and something kilograms? And it's not about that, is it? It's about everyone's different. And I think for me, I've been working like 15, 16-hour days since I was since I was probably 17, straight out of school. And all of the kind of time to pick up this stuff's just been on steroids. So your kind of recovery, and your recovery is probably not the right word, but you finding yourself in this kind of routine, how long did that take? Like, is the 10 mil thing a way to reset yourself, or is it like a constant thing?
No, it's just to reset, because I'd have these massive binges, and then I wouldn't eat for a day, and I tried to push it to 2 days, and then on that second day, my gosh, the hunger was so real. So then it was just the 10 meals really helped to get into that routine of it's okay to eat, not to the point of being stuffed, but like I'm nicely full. And then you have the energy. I started to notice I had so much more energy. Chocolate, I love chocolate, so I'd eat all this chocolate, and I'd notice the energy dive afterwards. So then you need the extra sugar spike, you know. So I was in a cycle of that. Once I was eating normal food, like they used to have these pre-packed chicken boxes on the crew cart, and I loved them. And yeah, so I'd have that with some Tabasco, and it was such a nice snack, and it was guilt-free, and I didn't crave the chocolate after the rush of this meal service, and then I could just eat my lunch, and then have more control over, rather than not eating anything and then eating everything. But now I just eat 3 meals a day, or 2 if I'm not hungry in the evening, but I make sure I never restrict. So if I am hungry, I will eat. And boy,
Yeah.
I eat. No, I'm kidding.
So do we.
Let's talk chocolate then. So I love chocolate. Chocolate's my Achilles heel, and I'm not afraid to say it. I've given up refined sugars for January, and I've stopped snacking as part of the diet to try and get rid, because I find that I can be in a calorie deficit, but the weight really doesn't come off if I'm still eating sugars. And my eating sugars is eating a massive bar of chocolate. What's your favourite bar?
Ooh, good question. So it's not a bar, but the Marks and Spencer's gigantic buttons.
Oh, they're
Up
banging.
Say,
They're banging.
Guess the calories of a whole bag.
oh my gosh, easy. And the orange one's good, but then the natural chocolate's great for a Sunday afternoon.
In my 4-day hiatus from the diet, literally last week, I smashed a whole bag on the train. Guess the calories.
I think I've looked. Is it 800?
750.
Ah, see, that's good. Yay, for less than 50 calories I thought I was eating.
Just positive brain. I sat on the train going, for me, what have I done?
I offer one out and feel good about it that I've shared at least one.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I gave my to Emma. So there you go.
Yeah, I feel good. I didn't bag up a whole bag. Just 732 calories instead. With that, Pippa, I've got like a statement that I've thought of, and I'd really like to sort of know your thoughts on it, because obviously the way you think about things and the positivity around it. So the statement would be like, food is an addiction, or like sort of, yeah, essentially you can be addicted to food. What are your thoughts around that sort of side of things?
100%. But then with obviously alcohol or substance abuse, you completely go teetotal, and that's your recovery. But with food, it's your survival. So you have to, imagine saying to an alcoholic, just have this little bit of Baileys or this little bit of wine 3 times a day, no more. It's not going to work. But the food addiction, it's so real. Like we said, because it's always connotated with the childhood memories, so it's there for that emotional support. But we also need it to survive. So if we don't eat at the right time, if we leave it to be too hungry, then we're going to fall off the wagon. I think there's so many parallels.
Yeah, because you can't follow the same sort of as like Alcohol's Anonymous and smoking and all of these addictions, because obviously, yeah, we need food to survive. So how would you, if someone's on the side of things where you can really identify that they've got a real strong addiction to food and the addiction is uncontrollable, how would you approach sort of something like that?
Definitely, if it was uncontrollable in that sense, there'd be a lot of shame. Maybe they wouldn't even talk about it. They wouldn't tell people. So I think first off would just be to encourage them to talk about it with their friend, or that's the thing with the coach. It's in between doctors' help and self-help, trying to do it yourself. And just not being afraid to reach out. And I think a lot of people worry that they're not sick enough or they don't have an eating disorder as such to reach out. Whereas if you're really struggling and isolating yourself and feel completely slave to food, I would immediately try and lift that shame from them, try and figure out what it is that's making them reach for the food. Did they just have a breakup? Did something emotionally trigger them, or a stressful day at work? And then we can work through that and figure out new ways, fun ways as well, to handle them next time.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, it's just sometimes you think your brain sort of just goes straight into. I even think that I've had addictions before and things like that at certain sort of stages. I might pull myself out of it slightly and lower it down, but then it's more of a case of with this diet, it's all or nothing. So it is what I think I was most keen on speaking to you around. Yeah, is what Ian mentioned earlier, is that transition from losing a ton of weight into not putting it all back on again and getting like a lifestyle where it's going to sort of work and maintain. I think that's the hardest thing. And I think every single person in our group chat has either gone through that before in terms of losing weight and then putting it back on, or are worried about it this time. So I was really, yeah, just keen to sort of these tips are really insightful in terms of how we can, well, firstly kick off the weight, but secondly how we can keep a good mental attitude and a lifestyle going forwards.
Keep it off as well. The weight won't come back once you've adopted those things, because life gets so good, and you will enjoy the way things feel. Also, you mentioned all or nothing. That's huge. That's what I do base a lot of the sessions on. It's because it goes into that restrict and binge mindset. I give an example of one of my clients. She would eat all these chocolates and then would restrict for maybe 10, 12 days. She wouldn't eat any chocolate. And she finds the first few days manageable. It's hard, but manageable. And then she rarely thinks about it, and then thinks about it less and less. And then she comes back to it and thinks, oh, I haven't had chocolate for a while, I'll just have one. And instantly that taste of and that feel of having it again after so long, all the endorphins are flooding her. Oh my, it's a refound love, and then she'll eat the whole box. So I set this challenge to every day eat 3 chocolates, even when you don't want them. And she was like, what? And she was like, I was like, just try it. So every day she ate 3 chocolates, and in time she genuinely didn't want them anymore. And if she did, she'd have 3, and it was enough. And sure, some days there were 4, but again, it's fine because you can celebrate. You didn't eat the whole box. And it's never going to be linear as well. So being graceful for yourself when you do have those binges, when you're trying to lose the weight, trying to figure out or give yourself credit for how far you've come since the very beginning, not just these minor.
Yeah, it's almost like a relapse, isn't it? It's like you hold off for so long and then you relapse and got to smash it all off. Whereas if you're doing little bit by little bit, you can't really relapse because you're continuously giving yourself what you think you need or want.
Yeah, I read recently something about that actually, and it's no they don't call it relapse. They call it, or like they like to think of it as a lapse, because your relapse isn't going to be as significant as they used to be. It would just be, each time it would just get smaller and smaller. It would just be, oh, just had a little lapse, and just smaller. And also just noticing gentle words like that helps your mind as well.
Yeah. So the way that it would be is to, rather than doing this sort of all or nothing, or maybe it will help us in terms of getting the mindset of losing loads of weight initially, but it's figuring out and working out when to slow it all down, start implementing like a good way of sort of how you're going to go forward. So like this 10 meals or smaller portions of things that you really, really enjoy and that you don't think you can hold out for. And then just trying to continue that going forward. And you might put on weight here and there, but you can get that small amount off again. It's a really good way of thinking. Yeah, I really like it, to be fair. Yeah, it's made me feel good.
I think the thing for me is, and if I'm really trying to dig deep in my soul about like diets that I've done before. I back myself to have the mental fortitude to be able to do stuff for about 6 months. Like when I was a good time when I lost loads of weight, I boxed and I was training 5 times a week. That went up to 6 times a week. Did that for 6 months, got all the weight off, looked great, boxed. Soon as I came out of that fight, I drank 30 pints, and then the next day started eating stuff. But I felt great, and Pete, you'd walk into a bar and everyone would be like, "Bloody hell, where the fuck have you gone? You've like lost all your weight," and then I'd be drinking more and going to see more. And I got addicted to the kind of maybe recognition of it all is probably the right way of saying it. And then 3-4 months down the line, the weight coming back on isn't as noticeable as it coming off. Like it's just, even though you think I can gain weight really, really quick, but you don't see yourself going, Jesus Christ, like the state of you, until it's like really big. And then I go back into this dark hole, and it's like, right, I need to go back into diet mode and lose it all. You're safer in diet mode. You're not doing it there. And that's the bit that I've been fighting for years. I did cognitive behavioral therapy about 6 years ago, maybe, which was basically that. It was this like, I'm good at going all in, like Taylor says, but I want to know why it has to be like I'm either trying to be my best or I'm trying to be my very worst. There is no middle ground, and it's
I feel that.
Yeah, what you're saying there is kind of great tools to reset that, but I still in my head believe that there's this like devil on one shoulder going, I'm going to drag you back in. Right? You're going to be bigger than last time. You're going to look worse, and you're always self-destructing. And I think I've got constantly battling this. And for me, the diet that I'm doing at the moment, I'm saying to everyone, by May I want to look the best I've ever looked. The plan after May isn't even in my head yet. And I think that is that kind of, what advice have you got to get that plan really going so it's just a natural thing?
That's when it's really hard. It's when you have that set date, like a wedding or an event or a holiday, that you want to look your best. And for sure, you give it everything you got. And you see the results and you get the achievement and it's the best. But then once that event passes, you completely lack direction, you lack drive. You don't want to go boxing 6 times a week. You know, you're tired. You want to let yourself rest. You haven't had the chocolate buttons. Marks and Spencer have missed you. They said, where have you been? So it's just about adopting, have the buttons and doing 3 boxing sessions a week rather than doing 6 and only clean eating, or still incorporating bits that you enjoy and trying not to have the time frame. May I ask, is May a special event for you, or is that just the time of the competition ends?
25th of the competition ends.
Yeah, I'm going away in May. For the last 2 summers, I think I've been too big to really enjoy them, if I'm honest. I'll go away and I really don't give a shit about taking your top off and that sort of stuff. I walk around, I don't care. But I think where I've always been overweight since a young age, I think it's always, I tend to start like if you're on holiday, I eat healthier than I eat at home because it's new people that I'm not being around, and I'm just not comfortable. So I want to have a period of time where I'm actually enjoying life. And I think for me, this has been a real kind of thing that's held me back for ages, because I've been constantly battling this kind of acceptance in myself. So May's my kind of date to be like, you've got to be comfortable in your skin. And then from there, in my head, the plan's like, then you've got to just try and continue the easy life. And 2,200 calories is a big restriction for a bloke of my size. But I'm finding it like every day it's normal. But I know if I take myself out of that routine, like a holiday, it won't be normal. So it's trying to find that balance. And I'm fighting a lot of demons up here at the moment. I don't know. I think that's the bit that I'm trying to fix more than the weight loss. And I've got a really supportive missus, and she's always supported me about kind of how I look and that sort of stuff. She doesn't give a shit about that. But this is all stuff that's in my head, right? And that's the thing that I need to overcome. So I'll give myself a date of May for no real reason more than I think I can get myself in a really good shape then. And it's more that that's my date where life's going to start again, and I'm going to start feeling good and start enjoying myself and this sort of thing. Which sounds all a bit dramatic, but I do genuinely believe for the last 2 years it's been, especially the last 6 months of the year before I got married. That was like a huge date that I needed to get to. I didn't get fit enough for it. I didn't look well enough for it. I ran the marathon to try and lose a load of weight and this sort of lunacy. And then after that, we went on honeymoon and this sort of stuff. And I worked out twice a day near enough every day on honeymoon because I wasn't comfortable in my body. So it's that kind of planning is the bit that I want to fix. And in my mind, I was like, right, go all in until May, then worry about it afterwards.
Yeah, that's where I think it gets tricky, because you're there and then you're like, now what? Whereas, congratulations, by the way, for your marriage, your wedding.
Yes.
But you have someone there that loves you for you. They don't, care about the size of you. And then it's about finding fun things that you can do together that isn't getting you away twice a day in a gym, on your honeymoon. So it's being present and doing nice things together. You could, incorporate fun things to do together. Like coffees and walks are so underrated. It doesn't sound like it's going to work out. You talk and you walk, and macchiatos are heavy.
Yeah, but to be fair, we got the dog this year, and he's 7, and we've been doing loads of stuff, active stuff like walking around parks and going to different parks and this sort of stuff, and that's been a massive help because it's like you're active and doing that. The only problem with that dog is he's 7 and he's lazier than me. Like we both look at each other going, should we go and get a coffee and a cake? But yeah, no, we've been doing loads of stuff like that. I think that's the dog's been a really good impact to that. And it really isn't like me comparing myself to her. It's not that. It's me. I've got this like crazily competitive mind that's like, how have you let yourself get to this? That's what's going through my head. It's all me. It's not like
External factors.
It's or anyone else. It's not that she's doing anything or anyone else is saying anything, because I think everyone accepts me for who I am. It's more me going, why have you let yourself get to this state? That's the bit that I'm always battling.
Like cheating your own potential almost, isn't it? That's you know what your potential is, you know what you could be, you know what you can get to, and like what you've done before, and then it's like you're not letting yourself get to that. So it's like battling that. Why am I not hitting my potential? Why am I being lazy?
And I think society's a bit shit, really.
Agreed.
Like on holiday, on our honeymoon, we went to Mauritius. We went to this like really fancy hotel that had like a crazily healthy menu, like to the point where you didn't feel like you're on holiday. It was that healthy. And every morning, well, not every morning, the mornings that my missus would order a fry up, I had the same kind of granola bowl. The granola bowl went in front of her. The fry up came to me, and they're just like, as soon as we shipped it around, they stare at you like, what the f is wrong with you? Like, or it's like, you get that in bars and restaurants all the time, and they just assume like you sit down and they go, right, you want full English for you, big fella? No, thanks. No. I'm going to take like 2 eggs, thanks. Cheers. Oh, that's not enough for a growing bloke like you. It's just all of that stuff is stuff you're constantly battling. Yeah, I think the whole, like, when you're in a state of right, I'm losing weight, I'm feeling good. I think that really helps because you're for me, I can give up alcohol at any point because I just turn around and go, I don't drink, and straight away I've gone. I did the same with cigarettes. I was smoking 30 a day, stubbed them out, never smoked again. So if I'm on a diet, I can go, no, I'm dieting. I only eat 2,200 calories. It's done. But if I'm out of that, I'm dangerous because it's like, well, I eat, yeah. Line it up.
How Pippa, how do you turn a positive spin on sort of like, because I think homing in what Ian's just mentioned, I think we've got a lot of judgment on ourselves, and we kick ourselves when we do bad, and even like Ian and myself, after we lost sort of a big amount of weight in January, we had that 3 days and we just like there just ate everything and got like felt disgusting for a few days and got back on the diet. How do you obviously giving yourself affirmations and telling yourself things are okay, but how would you start getting that into your lifestyle if you're never like that? I've never ever been like that where I tell myself good things. How would you
Yeah.
begin that process?
Affirmations, if that's not your thing, it won't work for you. I think forcing yourself into a size that's not meant for you, like if you're an octagon and it's a triangle, it's about exploring the things that work for you. And you guys are in a really unique position that you're all in this together. So you could make it fun. You could have soup and chill nights or something, and like all go around to your house and like just put on a soup. But just make it, you can get creative with these things, and you could challenge each other, like, go on, I dare to get the Caesar salad. You're like, no, they're all up, go on, get it. And there'd be banter on the table, like, oh, Ian got the Caesar salad, sauce on the side. You say, yeah, and I've got my full fat beer because balance. So
Yeah.
you can just reclaim it. Just we get to have a say in how we respond to society too.
I think blokes just love putting each other down though.
Banter is
Is there a way to
horrendous.
like negatively, positively affirmate? Like, is that just like, oh, you've just eaten another burger? Whoa.
I think I've grabbed John's boobs every day this whole month over the last like 4 weeks. Every time I walk past him, I just grab him up to like jiggle him a little bit. So, but that's our banter. So it's really hard to, yeah. How do you keep positive when you're doing that to each other?
But you have fun with it. That's the thing. Like, it'd be so much more awkward if no one was talking about it, or if you weren't feeding him up. He might get sad about that. And did I do something wrong? You know.
Poor sods.
Yeah, John enjoys it.
I watch that every day. He's just sitting at his desk shaking a little bit.
Just jiggling him.
I would love to set you a challenge then for May once the competition is over, and it's just to find a set point in your weight where you're not forcing yourself to get to a ridiculously small or a number on a scale, but just finding a set weight where you can comfortably eat the foods that you want to, but you can enjoy your walks, your boxing, and doing what you enjoy, but just seeing where that set point is. So it's a bit of an experiment, but that everybody has a set point weight where you don't have to try to stay at it, to stay there constant.
Yeah, I did have that. It was about. So I got down to 122 kilograms. That was just, and in my head, I was still the fattest bloke in the room, which is the most insane thing. I look back at them photos, I would eat Taylor to get back to that weight, right? And
Cheers.
I remember sitting there going, I still felt fat, and then I completely blew up. I got to about 138, and I could manage that for a long time, and I felt good in my skin then, and everything like this, and life changes, stuff happens, work got busy again, and then it was 144. Then over, I think I got COVID, and because I was ill, and it was like that was in the first week of it being a thing. I was in a house by myself with Deliveroo, just going caterpillar cakes, the mini roll ones, just delivered into the house. Like that'll make me feel better. Doubled in size, like hundreds, and then I couldn't really breathe for a while. I had it quite bad, And then I was trying to walk around trying to get my lungs back, and I just looked in the mirror. I was like, Jesus Christ. And also it was like COVID times where your beard would be out as well, hair would be everywhere. It was just like, what the fuck has happened? And since then I got back into shape, then got back into shape there. But the level was just gone higher and higher. And I think that 138 was exactly that way. I felt so comfortable in my skin after a while. But again, I'm still miles away from that at the moment. So it's just consistently trying to just chop down now. I've really not tried to kill myself dieting as well this time. I've tried to do it sustainably, enjoy it, that sort of thing. But there's still that little devil that wants to go out and get absolutely shit-faced. So
that makes so much sense. That's why you've got to sort of like, even at our size now, Ian, like you've got to sort of try and fall in love with your skin now, because at the end of the day, we could put on 40 kg in the next sort of 2 years, and then we look back at what we was now and think, I wish I was that size. And like over the last few years, I've constantly wished, oh, I'd do anything to be back to that weight. But at the time, you're like, I'm absolutely disgusting. I want to be skinny. I want to be skinnier, and you're never happy. So like there is that element of, no matter what milestone you get to, you've just got to try and be happy. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Do you think booze is a killer though? Because it just gets you in such dark places. That's when
Yeah.
everything starts getting a bit self-destructive. And booze for me, again, in our company, it's like work hard, play really hard. So we're just drinking fucking crazy amounts Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you kind of step it up on a Saturday and Sunday. You're like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened there? But every time I get in a routine with booze is the bit that it all falls down. So I'm just trying to like, I think I'm aware of everything that's the problem, but I'm still just kind of like dodging out of the way of them instead of like really confronting it all and fixing it really.
That's good that you've noticed that. And that's one of the huge things, is noticing what works well for you. And have you tried different alcohols as well? Like maybe you're better on a rum and coke or a beer, or different gin and tonic?
I have thought this, right? I thought, because it takes me a long time to get pissed, as Taylor knows, because I drank him under a table once.
Never.
10 years older and drunk him under the point for me is like drinking to the point where you're battered.
Mm.
So in my head, I was thinking, I remember going to our New York office once, and they don't drink pints, because pints takes me 10 pints to get going, really. The calories in that's crazy. The amount of liquid that goes through you is crazy as well. Americans just smash shots for an hour and then they're absolutely battered, and that's it. They're fine. Do you know what I mean? They're either like in bed or they're just completely smashed.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe that could be my approach, like a low calorie approach to just get as pissed as quickly and this sort of stuff. But
That's what I want to do, because I don't like the taste of alcohol. I just love being absolutely legless. If you can do it in the quickest way possible with the lowest calories, I know it's not very good in terms of just corrupting yourself, but I'd love to be able to just smash off a few shots, get pissed, and then go home and enjoy myself. Right? If it don't happen, you have to drink all night, like sort of what we do. But Pippa, what else do you sort of deal with other than sort of the binge eating and things like that? What sort of other areas, just to get an idea of your clientele and sort of what you do? What do you sort of cover?
I'll definitely go into that, but if it's okay, just what you said then about you have to be smashed and stay out drinking all night. That's again, is that what society wants you? Is that pressure?
no, I'm not an all night
Yeah.
guy. I'm not an
That's
all
what I
night
enjoy.
guy. I just like getting smashed. Then I'll go home. I get to that point, I'm happy. Like, I'm not a let's stay out till Sunday type. It's not that. It's right. I now feel pissed. Let's go home. That's kind of,
Ian's got a great trick, Pippa. So when he's at a bar with a lot of people and we're socialising, he'll go to the bar. He'll order 40 shots, and then as you're all waiting for the shots, he'll slip off and backdoor
leave.
the night out and just leave you all with the 40 shots. No one knows where he's gone because everyone's sort of excited with these shots, and then he leaves the bar tab with the shots as well. It's great.
You get like 50 calls. You're the worst person on the night out. But it's a great way to leave.
I love that.
Yeah. And that's usually by the point that I'm smashed. So I'm like, right, time to go.
But yeah, because that changing that alcohol for me, when I was living in Dubai, there was a ladies' night every day of the week. So girls would drink free somewhere at all times. So I could barely remember coming to the door sometimes, like this pure blackout vibes. Then I just was like, what is it that I like about drinking so much? And it's that connection with people. It's the laughing, it's the silliness, it's the letting go of things. And then you can literally find other ways to do that. You can still have all the drinks. That's something. Don't do all or nothing. Definitely go get smashed. Just have bangers of mash before you go out or something. So your tummy's nicely lined and you don't need to do all the chips and kebab afterwards or something. Or stay out till 10, not 11. The small little things, the small changes, not all or nothing.
Yeah, I think for years my Saturdays would be wake up at, well, it could be even as early as like 7 a.m. to go to a football match, start drinking then, finish right at the other end of the night. I've canned all of that stuff. I am genuinely quite boring now. But there's always at certain points of the year where, like Friday, I've got a dart. I'm going to the darts. It's like the best day I can think of. I'm going 30 pints. Let's go. I'm going to do that. Just get absolutely rat-assed and then like stumble home. But it's the carnage after that is the bit that I can't control. Is my kind of, at the moment, my brain's like, you're dieting, you're doing well, brilliant week, that sort of stuff. Drink, gone. It's like it's not even self-beating up. It's just like there's no coming back from this.
Do you drunk dial? Are you a drunk texter?
No.
You're not. Where's the fun in drinking? What do you do?
No, I just get smashed, and then like me and my missus talk about that a lot. I'm one of the happiest drunks.
You are
not
good.
a bad drunk. Like I just know that leaves me 2 weeks of eating shit and not being focused. It's like a brain switch thing for me. It's not again, I really don't. I've spent a lot of time sober and not lost weight. It's not, booze isn't the issue for me. It's like getting into bad habits after it's the biggest reset for me, which is the problem. That's why I'm more scared of booze from how it ruins my habits than the actual alcohol itself. I like getting smashed, so it doesn't affect me that much. I'm that fine.
Yeah, no, I get that. But something stood out then as well. You said that you've become boring. Neither of you are boring. You're so much fun, and there's so much to offer in that as well. And not everything is based around a size or, so there's some things I want you to focus on as well.
Yeah.
I don't think you're boring, Ian.
No, look, I've got great chat. I know that.
Boring in what society wants you to do. That's what it
true.
is.
But I try and tend to not do anything now that I'm in like diet mode. I've made my preparations to say we're gonna have a boring few months, and it is boring in the sense of not going out and doing that sort of stuff. But I get what you're saying. We're gonna have a really fun time sitting on the sofa after a long walk.
Netflix.
Okay, so Pippa, do you take how many people do you take on a week, or are you looking for more?
Yeah, I'm really flexible, so I take on as many people as I feel I could give them. I never want to take on too many that I'm not giving them an equal. Like, I really like to know the people. I like to connect with them and like to know their story. I don't want to flick through notes to remember things about them. I always want to be present with them and just know how far they've come and things. So I also would only take clients that I feel like could genuinely really help them. Anorexia gets very complicated because doctors need to intervene and things like that. I'd still completely help someone. It also really helps if someone wants to make that change for themselves. It's difficult if a partner is forcing them into it or a parent. So I would just have talks with them to see if they want to do this and, if they're ready to make changes. And but I'm open to taking as many people as I can, without burning out or not being able to give my all.
And how does it work? Is it like a telephone service, face-to-face? Like, where are you based, that sort of thing?
Yes, I'm based in London, so we can do face-to-face, but I more often do Zoom meetings. So I have clients, I have one in the UAE and a couple in the US, and then others are in UK, but it's over Zoom, and it makes it easier because you can carry on with your normal life, and then you can just pop on. And so I encourage them sometimes, you can message me if you feel that binge urge coming on, and just give me a call. And if I'm available, we can talk through that in that moment in real time, and do a bit of a meditation even, and just a bit of a reset.
That is a hell of a service, that, because I can feel it coming on like a tidal wave sometimes, where it's just like, fuck it. Okay, and how do people connect with you? Is it Instagram, email?
I have Instagram, and I have a website, healedandwholerecovery.com, and then that has links to my Instagram, or an email has a link to my email as well.
Okay, lovely. Well, Pippa, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. Taylor, I'm just conscious you did ask a question a minute ago, but we talk about disordered eating mostly, and things that come from the side of that. So with binge eating, sometimes binge shopping comes up, or
Oh, really?
like getting tennis elbow. Some people get visa wrists and things like that. So it's all part of the binging mind frame, all or nothing. I haven't bought anything for a while, so I'm going to go on ASOS and buy all these clothes quickly, or I don't know. So money is a big thing that comes up.
Gambling, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so it's that binging, it's that all or nothing is your focus, and that's what you do. Is anything, if someone can't hold back and they've got to just throw themselves and do it at the absolute max, that's where you can come in and help out.
Yeah, definitely. And
Lovely.
people with that negative thought pattern, they just want to nurture and calm their mind and create that safe space where it's okay, they haven't messed up, and it's all part of being human. No one is perfect, and it's just getting them to be where they want to be and who they want to be.
Binge shopping. That's another thing I've got
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mental, isn't it?
I got size 14 feet, right? So I couldn't buy trainers in a shop since I was like 14 years old, because their feet got too big for the shops. Now that they do size 14 shoes, like they used to just go up to size 12, I think I've got every pair of trainers under the sun. Like, it's farce. And every single time I get on Nike, it's like, right, let's have a little look. Oh, not sure if I've got them or not. Let's buy them. And when they're size 14, you need whole rooms to store these fucking things. So that's all intrinsically linked to the binging as well, then.
Yeah. It's all that denying yourself, and then suddenly wanting everything, all of the things.
I feel like I fit into this category so well. I feel like everything I do is either in masses or not at all. That is literally my brain on everything. So like, I could go through bad gambling phase, I could go through bad eating, shopping, smoking. Like that's literally, I home in on that. So yeah, it's been really, really good having you on.
Oh, well, you know where to find me.
Yeah, I'm on. I'm in.
With the shopping, would you go out and buy 10 small things to get out the habit of?
Technology we follow, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go out and buy 10 cream eggs, and then you come.
Oh! One thing I did was want to leave on quickly, if that's okay, is something that stood out to me so much was I was on a flight once, just landed into Toronto, and then we were all so tired, and then we got to the hotel, and I've never seen so much life. There were people of all sizes, all shapes, every ethnicity, just super diverse, and they're all going for a carnival, and there were larger people with tiny like hot pants and cellulite legs, and I've never seen so much beauty. Honestly, you think your body's meant to be this particular way, but these people were so genuinely happy, and I realized it's life shining out of you is what makes you look good. You can have someone who's so slim, but if they're beaten up by life, if they're low and not feeling good, or if you get someone who's at any size but they're radiating, or they feel good, they look good because they feel good. So that was just something that really stuck out to me, was shifting what's beautiful.
I'm all over that now. We're going to have the most positive podcast out there. It's like,
I feel like warm inside right now. It's been nice. Ian's opened up. I've never seen him open up that more in my life. Like he's just got into his deepest, darkest
I'm going to cuddle
secrets.
Jonty as soon as I come out of him. It's going to be lovely. Pippa, thank you so much. And yeah, that's food for thought for everything. Let me if you hear any of the pods to see if we're changing that, because I am conscious that we're just constantly taking a piss out of each other, and we're also a little bit conscious of the group that we've started is a bit like, yeah, someone puts a McDonald's in and everyone's like, oh, why have you fucking done that? So yeah, but, it would be good to stay in touch and definitely like talk through this kind of change of mindset. I tend to get in this like negative state, and I think actually being really positive could be a much better way of seeing it all. So it's not so this doesn't have to hurt that much, the diet and that sort of thing. So thanks so much for that. And I'm going to go out and eat 10 small meals now. So, but yeah, thanks very much for coming on. And listeners, if you want to get in touch with Pippa, I'll share everything on the Instagram. And yeah, thank you very much, Pippa.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy
See you
the
later.
Wednesday.
Yeah, you
See
too.
you later.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
We've got some diet plans, health scans, sugar bans, fitness fans, PTs, injuries, laying off the Chinese, ball games, gym chains, protein gains and skin tight tops, and we ain't gonna stop until we hit the 50k. Drop, 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 no excess fat, no FAT, no curry bag, no guarantee. Rough or buff, lean on me, we'll end up as fit as a pig.